Hello and welcome. Happy to have you here for Peace of Night, a podcast created to help you drift to sleep, distract the brain without being too distracting, or play as calm background noise while you're doing something like drawing, homework, gaming, and so on. There will be no ads rolling through the duration of the podcast, so no worries about loud spikes in audio or random startling noises. If you'd like to support the channel and or the series, please consider buying me a coffee or making a donation on Patreon. There will be links in the description to both. Please keep in mind that this is a pilot episode, so things may be a bit scattered and imperfect. This is also liable to change over time. I have improvised this episode quite a lot to keep it natural rather than scripted. I wanted to go for a sort of late night call with a friend vibes, and have hopefully achieved that goal. While I would love to make a bit longer of episodes due to technological, physical, and time limitations, the pilot will be roughly 45 minutes long and any new episodes will be around 30. Please let me know in the comments if this is something you'd like to see more of. I would love to receive as much feedback as possible, that way I know if this is something people want to see or if I should direct my attention to other things. Without further ado, here's Peace of Night. I personally enjoy the usage of sleep aids. I listen to stuff every night before I go to sleep. It's a habit that I have developed, and I was like, I would like to contribute to this idea. I would like to contribute to this type of content and share this type of content and maybe help people who can't sleep very well at night, maybe to listen to a calming voice, a friendly voice, and have a friendly, very chill, very relaxed atmosphere and fall asleep. This hopefully does not breach into ASMR territory, because I'm not a big fan of ASMR, especially with like the chewing ASMR type stuff, or like whispering ASMR. So hopefully this is not like that. But hopefully this is just a kind of like you're on a late call with a friend and your friend just likes to talk on and on and on and you kind of drift off to sleep. That's hopefully the vibes that I will achieve. If not, you can always let me know. I would love to hear feedback. I would love to know if this is something people would enjoy, or even, if this is something people would want to see. And I do want to, as a little disclaimer, this would not take away, hopefully, from other content that I would want to do, like animatics and stuff. So, with that being said, 30-minute long episodes, partially because of technological limitations, time limitations, and also my own human capacity. Because one thing that I've noticed when I talk a lot is that my throat gets sore quickly. I do have some tea with me and 2 cups of water. So hopefully this will help out. This pilot episode may be a little bit longer. I'll see how much I record and how much I have to cut out, because some stuff it may not add to the sleep aid experience positively. It may kind of kill the vibe, and I don't want to do that. I want this to be something to listen to. I will be rambling on about whatever comes to my mind, because I can, and I don't know what to talk about, and it's the point of the podcast to just kind of talk. So I have debated on doing just one topic per episode, or multiple topics per episode. This was kind of an idea I had today. So I'm kind of flying blind. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be honest. I do not know how to make a podcast. I do some recording stuff, but I haven't done this type of recording where I'm just talking or voicing or whatever. I don't do that a lot, and I haven't done that a lot recently, especially. But hopefully I can achieve what I'm looking for, and hopefully this does help some people. As for a topic, because this is something that I'm currently really obsessed with, I think I would like to talk about Mega Man Star Force, which is a very old, come to realize, video game that is kind of like an alternate universe of Mega Man. If you don't know what Mega Man is, it's like a artificial intelligence. He's an artificial intelligence robot, and he typically fights against this evil Dr. Wily. And Dr. Wily takes some of these humanoid robot technologies and makes them evil. And Mega Man steps in and steps up to kind of take care of that whole situation, from what I remember. But Mega Man Star Force is Mega Man, but entirely different. It's an entirely different universe. Long story short with that, Mega Man Star Force is actually about a kid named Geo, and his dad goes to space and doesn't return, and Geo's devastated by this because he loves his father, obviously. And one day, while looking up in the stars, looking up in the sky, he actually comes in contact with an alien named, I believe, Omega Sis, or Omega Exis. I'm not sure how to say his name, but it doesn't matter anyways because everyone decides to call him Mega. And he and Geo, Mega and Geo, merge together to become an EM being called Mega Man. Entirely different, like, story from, Mega Man, like just Mega Man. But the games are, in my opinion, so fun. I have been replaying the Mega Man Star Force games, and I love them. I forgot how much I love them. They're so fun. They're very heavy story. They're heavy on the story, and that's typically what I like in games. So, getting to see all the characters fleshed out, and getting to interact with the characters and all of this stuff. I love stories, and I love the Star Force story. There are 3 different Star Force games. I have one of each. They kind of pull a Pokemon situation where, like the first Mega Man Star Force game, you can have either Mega Man Star Force Leo, Mega Man Star Force Pegasus, or Mega Man Star Force some other thing I forgot. Sorry. It's like a serpent something, but it's not that. Dragon, maybe. Dragon? Anyways, but you can pick one of the 3 games. They're all the same game, but there's different aspects to each game. Like, I have Mega Man Star Force Leo, so Mega Man Star Force Leo is like a fire type thing. And there's a lot of like fire capabilities, whereas maybe Mega Man Pegasus has more like ice. I'm not quite sure. But Mega Man Star Force is definitely by far a fun game. The only thing that's like a grievance of mine is the like whole virus situation. So the enemies, I guess it's also kind of Pokemon in this way where it's like you walk around as Mega Man and you randomly encounter like little boss fights or like little enemies or whatever. And that's all fine. That's all good. It feels like every 15 seconds you run into an enemy, and it's so difficult for me because I get lost so easily. And I like really have to pay attention because I'll get into a fight, I'll fight the boss or little enemy, whatever, and then I don't know where to go. And I'm like, where do I go? So I really have to pay attention in certain like areas, because if I don't know the area fully, or I'm like looking for something, it's so hard to remember where I was, where I'm going, what's left, what's right. Was I left? Was I right? This area looks familiar. Oh no, I gotta go back. Run into another boss fight. And then I backtrack again. Don't even realize I backtrack again. So, but anyways, that's like one of my grievances is I wish the boss fights, they're not boss fights, but that is just what I end up calling them. Just these little mini fights, these little mini whatever. I wish they were spread apart a little more, just so I don't lose my focus so easily, because I get very distracted, and if I'm not paying attention, I will get lost very easily, or very confused very easily. But story elements, love the story. I love the character interactions. Probably one of my favorite characters is, well, obviously Gio. He's definitely one of my favorite characters, but I actually really like Luna. As weird as it sounds, Luna is one of the characters that ends up becoming one of Gio's friends, and she's very spunky. She's got the sass. And she usually is with two other characters called Bud and Zach, and they all kind of hang out together. It's sort of like a she's the boss of them type situation, and they kind of just, you know, whatever you say, Prez, is a nickname for her. One of her nicknames is Prez. And she is like class president in the first one, and she like tries to get Gio to go to school because he stops going to school because he lost his dad. He's mourning, and he's scared to make more like connections with people in fear of like losing them. So Luna is very like, she wants everyone kind of to do what she tells them to do. So Luna is like constantly bugging Gio in the first Mega Man game and is like, you have to come to school, Gio. And Gio's like, but I don't wanna. But their dynamic's very funny. I don't necessarily agree with how Luna handles things, but she does handle things. She's a very girl boss in that way. Maybe not in the best way, but she knows how to get things done. And that's a quality I admire, honestly. I like someone that can do the job and do it well. You know, it's not always, again, in the best way, and I don't necessarily support how she does things. But she's a fun character nonetheless. But I have played through the first and second game already. I'm currently almost done with the third game. And, well, I was gonna say spoilers, but the game is, gosh, it's at least 10 years old, if not older. The game is so old, the game is for DS, and it actually has like pixel art. I'm not gonna try and assume what like bit it is, like, you know, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, I don't know. I'm currently playing through the third game, and quite frankly, I did not remember a lot of like what happened in that game. I was playing the game and I was like, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. Which, you know, it's kind of fun because I get to like re-experience the game. I haven't played the game since so long, and part of the reason why was the first game only has one save file, and I was really hesitant to delete that save file. So I ended up like not ever playing the games. But recently I was like, you know, it's been long enough. I want to play the games. I want to play the games, and I'm going to delete the save file, and I'm going to play the games. So I deleted the save file and I played the games, and I'm honestly really glad I did, because I'm having a blast. If you have a DS or a 3DS and you haven't played Mega Man Star Force, definitely recommend it. It's such a fun game. For me personally anyways, I really enjoy those games. If you're more like story oriented, it's definitely a type of game for you then, because it's very heavily like on the story. And you kind of walk around, you do some tasks and whatnot, and usually it's like which I guess every video game is, but you know, it's like, oh, you have this objective, now you have this next objective, now you have this next objective. And that feels especially true in the third Mega Man game, because it feels like there's a lot, like, I got to a point where I was like, this feels like two separate games. Like, that's how, you know, like, you had the first game, and then, like, the part 2 of the first game. That was like, this feels like a different Mega Man Star Force game. Still fun nonetheless. Sorry if I got a little loud there. My voice is starting to kind of fail on me. Don't let the flame die out. Speaking of, actually, this is a great way to change the topic. I watched the SpongeBob movie recently. The, like, first one. The really old first one. That's, like, 10 years old. That, is not even on, like... I don't know how to explain this. Especially to this young generation, this Gen Z. But when I was a kid growing up, we had this big device. It seemed pretty big anyways. It wasn't like a little DVD player. But we had this big device that could record what was playing on your cable TV. So, you could pop in like a blank DVD and it would record what was playing on the TV, essentially. The most simplified way of explaining it. So, this movie is so old. It's like we don't own, like I've never bought the like SpongeBob movie, but we have a recording from cable TV of SpongeBob, the SpongeBob movie. And it was funny because there were some like really old ads. Oh my gosh, I call them ads again. Oh no. Oh. I mean, I had this talk yesterday. I'm like, we gotta go back. I'm calling commercials ads. Oh no. Anyways, to rephrase what I was saying, we didn't, whoever recorded it, we left in some of the commercials. I almost called them ads again. We left in some of the commercials, and quite frankly, it was really an experience to like rewatch old commercials. It wasn't even like rewatching the movie. It was like some of these commercials that I remember as a kid. I was like, oh my goodness, these commercials, like, whoa. And like I had quite an experience just watching the commercials, which was really funny. I want to look up on like YouTube some of these commercials that at one point, it was like, not a commercial, but like I sat through the commercials. It was so fun. There was one commercial specifically, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but it's kind of like about breakfast time, and it's a fork, a spoon, and a plate that kind of have this like rap song about breakfast time. And I tell you, the noise that came out of my body when that commercial came on, I was so excited. I didn't know the words, so I couldn't sing along, but I knew enough. I don't want to sing it because it's kind of like a harsh song, and this is a calm atmosphere where we all get to relax and go to sleep. But if you ever want to know what I'm talking about, just look up when you're awake, Nickelodeon breakfast time. You'll probably get it. And this was a commercial roughly in the 2000s. You'll probably find results on YouTube. I would imagine there would be a bunch of commercial results on YouTube just because YouTube probably has it. YouTube's a very, very interesting place with a lot of interesting information. But it was really fun to like rewatch the SpongeBob movie, laugh at some of the jokes that I may not have understood as a kid, laugh at things that weren't even a joke, just because it was funny. Haha. And I was in a very giddy mood, because, the nostalgia. I was riding the wave of nostalgia yesterday, which was really fun. I love getting to relive, and I think that's kind of like part of like, playing Mega Man Star Force, watching the old SpongeBob movie, like the reliving of an experience that I'm not going to quite ever get again, but still get to re-experience it in a way. It's something that is so, like, nostalgia is such an interesting thing, because it's like, I remember how the SpongeBob movie ends, but I don't necessarily remember all the stuff within the SpongeBob movie. Or I know how Mega Man Star Force ends, but I don't necessarily remember all of the events that lead up to how it ends. So it's really fun to like almost re-experience some of these things and like remember how much I enjoyed them, or have a newfound enjoyment of them because, you know, some of this stuff, like, I haven't seen the SpongeBob movie in a really long time. I haven't played Mega Man Star Force in a really long time. But to re-experience it and get to remember and be like, oh yeah, is like really fun for me. I love being able to do that. I don't get to do that as much with like Sonic stuff, because I like actively engage in Sonic stuff. I feel like so much more, and Sonic made such an impact in my life. Like, I remember Sonic Unleashed like the back of my hand, you know, like, relatively speaking. I like know beginning, middle, end, story-wise, of Sonic Unleashed. And I could say that about a lot of the Sonic content. Like, I was a super, super big Sonic fan. Still am, absolutely. With, like, newer Sonic games, I don't remember maybe as much. But Sonic has played such a large role in my life that even games like Sonic Lost World, I remember enough of. And I was old enough when I played the games to, like, have it stick a little better. So, you know, like, big spoilers, like, oh my goodness, Tails becomes a robot. Spoiler alert, sorry. But, so in a way, like, I don't really get to re-experience the whole nostalgia and, like, the feelings that I get with, like, Mega Man Star Force or, like, the SpongeBob movie. I don't really get to re-experience that with Sonic, because Sonic was such a big, important part of my life. And, you can probably hear in my voice, I maybe try and get a lozenge or something, because my voice is like starting to get like raspy, and I'm trying to like manage it, but it's not working. I could make some more tea. Sorry, total distraction. What was I saying? Something about Sonic. What was I saying about Sonic? Uh-oh. Well, anyways, I need someone to like show Sonic to, and that just becomes obsessed with Sonic, and we can geek out together, and I can like show the world to this person, and a world of possibilities, endless possibilities. One of my favorite Sonic songs, by the way, Endless Possibilities. If you like really good music, Endless Possibilities is all I have to say. I've definitely cried listening to that song. It's so good. Oh, I love it. I'm sorry, this whole podcast is just me being like, oh my goodness, so fun. I love it. This thing, all my interests, which I guess this is literally just supposed to be me rambling, and talking about things that I like, and talking about things that I, you know, just want to talk about. So I shouldn't feel bad. If you want to watch something like this, it's on you. I'm here to just talk and have a good time, and talk about things that interest me. 'Cause what else am I gonna talk about? Things that don't interest me? Things that interest you? I don't know what interests you. I don't know. Maybe you tell me. Let me know. And maybe I'll talk about my opinion on it if I know what it is. I mean, you could, I guess. You could tell me about yourself in the comments if you're still awake. Or in your waking hours. You can talk to me about that. But, for now, go to sleep. Have a good slumber. Anyways, sorry, I get so distracted easily. Having to stick on, like, a specific subject, maybe it's not a good idea to have, like, a specific topic to talk about per, like, episode. 'Cause I get so distracted so easily. It's not even funny. Like, I will easily lose my train of thought. Like, if I'm thinking or talking about a subject and I want to, like, interject another, like, side note to it, I will forget about what I'm talking about or, like, where I left off. It's, like, really frustrating. I, like, have to pay attention. I will forget. Which I'm hopefully trying to work on, and hopefully that's getting a little bit better. I want to be aware of, like, what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, what's going on. Like, I feel like I'm, like, zoning out right now. And I randomly started talking about this. Like, why am I... Well, I guess, it's a topic to talk about. It is what it is. I am going to take, I think, a little bit of a break and make some more tea and maybe suck on a lozenge. Lozenge? Lozenge. Sorry, I lost my composure a little bit back there. Sorry. I am gonna take a little bit of a break, drink a little bit of tea, maybe have a lozenge, and record a little bit more, because I would like this first episode to be a little bit longer than 30 minutes. I would like it to be a little bit longer than the 30-minute mark. Roughly 45 minutes, if not almost an hour. But at the rate that my throat is going, I don't know how much more I can kind of keep up in one shot. So I'm gonna take a break, gonna relax, gonna see if I can't try and push through and record a little bit more. I would really like to have a, pilot episodes are usually longer than half hour. So I would kind of like to fill up, at least 45 minutes, if not an hour. Funny story though, I actually had a whole episode recorded like 2 months ago. And I never, ever, I recorded it. I was like, cool, have a whole hour recorded, never touched it. And I don't know why. I will admit, I kind of talk about some stuff that's I maybe shouldn't be talking about that, first episode sleep aid. You know what I mean? So it was nice to kind of pre-record it, but I realized kind of maybe these aren't the vibes. And then I never touched it again, and I never watched through it or listened through it, trying to edit it. Hopefully with this specific recording, it will not be the same. I would like to make at least one episode, and I would love to get feedback, and I would love to just do it and just get it out there. Anyways, yeah, I'll be back. I am back. I had a lozenge, aka cough drop, got more tea. My throat feels a little bit better, so I'm gonna try and record a little bit more. I also realized something as I was just making tea. I forgot that Mega Man, to readdress Mega Man, I completely forgot that Mega Man was the reason I had made my OC story Return of a Hero, and he was the reason I created Luke. He was the inspiration for that whole story, and you can probably see the inspiration, especially in a lot of my old art and how I wrote a lot of things, because as a kid, and I even do this still now sometimes, I have a tendency to, or had a tendency a lot more, I was more prone to seeing something that I enjoyed, seeing something that I really liked, like Mega Man. I was like, oh, Mega Man. Then I would just copy paste the character and slap the OC name on it, oh yeah, you're Luke now. And that's not a great idea, especially when it comes to wanting to make your own original content. A lot of designs I had to tweak, a lot of things that I forgot, I had to kind of rewrite, which is fortunate probably that I forgot them, because a lot of it probably would have been super comparable to Mega Man, and probably still is in some ways that I don't even realize. So with that being said, the good news though is that Mega Man was the reason for creating Return of a Hero and the whole Luke story and all of this stuff. And not to get into OC stuff, but there is so much stuff to the story of Luke. I actually originally had it where Return of a Hero was sort of a second thought and the aftermath of what would have been the first story. and first explanation, which I believe I called the story of Luke's creation and that whole thing. I believe I had called that Everyone's Hero, trying to stray away from the other title, Everyone's a Hero, because that's a movie title of an older movie, but I still wanted to make it relatively and distinctly different. But the reason why I wanted to call it Everyone's Hero was because, similarly to Mega Man, Luke would power up with his siblings and be a hero. And Luke's, like, identity as a hero, his name was literally Hero. So I thought it was like a cool, like, oh, everyone's hero because his name is Hero, as, you know, this persona, this heroic persona and superhero type character. And kind of thinking on that, I may try and redesign and rewrite that story a little bit more, just because I really am trying to stray away from having it feel too much like Mega Man and too much like another series called Astro Boy, because I also pulled quite a lot of inspiration from Astro Boy as well. Both the old cartoon anime, not sure what it is, and the movie, which was how I was introduced to Astro Boy. Actually, I watched the movie. We watched the movie when I was a kid, like a while ago, and when I got into Mega Man and into all the robotics, I remembered that movie, and I was like, I gotta find that movie. So I believe I rented it from the library, watched it, loved it at the time, because, oh, robots, ah! And I was super into the AI, artificial intelligence, human, like, robotic but human-like capabilities, or robots with human-like capabilities is a great way to put that. So, and I got all of the books about, like, technology and AI and robotics, and I was immersed in that sort of thing in AI back before AI was what it is now, you know. Still really enjoy a lot of that stuff. Obviously, I still have a strong affinity for Mega Man, and I still have not as strong of an affinity, but a still connection with Astro Boy. Still have a really strong affinity for Luke and my OC stories, because Luke was the OC story. I've had many OC stories. I have many, copy-pasted stories that I labeled as OC. Not really original, but, you know. Luke, on the other hand, was like my passion. I wanted to write books about it. With each Mega Man game I would play, I would, like, you know, make a new-ish Luke story about it. Alternate universes and all this stuff. Return of a Hero was, I believe, inspired by Mega Man. What was that inspired by, actually? I wanted to say it was inspired by Mega Man ZX and Mega Man ZX Advent, but I'm starting to question if that's the case, because I had a whole other thing that was really confusing and really stupid looking back at it. But I had a whole other thing that was, like, relating to that. So I'm not... Oh! Mega Man... Return of a Hero was inspired by Mega Man X and the Mega Man X series. And Virtue was inspired a lot by the Mega Man Zero series thing. Yeah, I pulled quite a lot of inspiration from, like, other stuff and, like, kind of piled it into an OC thing. Hopefully, I have strayed enough away from the Mega Man series to kind of be able to label Return of a Hero and the Luke stories as its own thing. That's always been my, like, recently that's been my, like, number one concern, was because as a kid I just wrote a bunch of this stuff, you know, oh, like, oh yeah, I'm writing a bunch of my own stories, woo. But now as an adult, I'm like, oh no, oh no. It's like way too similar. It's way too similar. I've got to change a lot. And so I've like had to do damage control essentially, which is not fun, but at the same time, it's also kind of like fun because I get to kind of rewrite the story and rewrite it in a way that I want to. But it's also really concerning because I have no idea what characters like are original and have an original design that I really like, or accidentally copied. So I'm like, is this good? Like, am I okay with like going this route? Because I really like this design, really like this character, so on and so forth. But anyways, that's a personal problem, personal issue, not something that you guys have to worry about. You're probably just happy to just have content to consume. I would love to one day actually put voices behind my OCs and my characters, because a lot of I would like to make like original scripting, but obviously I can't voice everyone. Even if I wanted to, I can't, and I quite frankly don't want to. I would maybe want to voice a character, because I enjoy voice acting and it's something that I would want to do. But I was kind of planning at one point to maybe open up like voice auditions. I was kind of putting it off because I wanted to like pay people for their time, which is still something that I want to do, but unfortunately I like realistically cannot do that at this time. So I've been putting it off. I've thought of making a GoFundMe. I've thought of like still following through with like, hey, if you want to voice a character, you're more than welcome to. And if anything should make money, I will log your hours. I will log your voice acting hours. I will pay you eventually, but otherwise for now it's a passion project, not to be taken too seriously. And just kind of we're seeing where it goes. And we're all in this together. So I have big plans for Return of a Hero and even just other OC stuff, but it's kind of been a weird journey because I recently have realized how interested I am in like learning about mental health stuff and learning about self-growth and self-healing and self-help. And I actually would love to kind of lean towards creating content like that as well. Whether it's through like stories or just videos about like, here's how I did this thing, and here's what I learned about this thing, and just seeing where it goes from there. Ideally, I would love to do both. Not to get into like content ideas that I'm kind of bouncing around in my head, but I would like to make videos about certain things relating to like self-help, what I went through, my story, how I recovered, so on and so forth. Because I've been through a lot. I'll be honest, I've been through quite a lot, especially in 2023, 2022. My whole life I've been through a lot. And I feel like I'm getting better, and I want to share about that eventually. But additionally, I also really love mental health representation, and I love when TV shows kind of give you an interesting spin on, like mental health and characters going through mental things or disorders or disabilities. I love seeing representation of things like that. And I realized with Return of a Hero, I could easily do that. So I've been kind of working through the characters and their stories and kind of like what would best, which character or which robot or which humanoid would best represent this specific type of mental health issue or mental disorder, I believe would be the name. Like with this character best represent this, with this character best represent this, is this something I want to represent? Is this something that I should save for a different time or a different story? How much do I want to represent it? How little do I want to represent it? So I've kind of been working through those details, which has also kind of been holding me back on opening up OC auditions, because there's I kind of need to know personalities of characters before I'm yeah, audition for this complete blank slate of a character, you know what I mean? So do be on the lookout though, probably not within this month, but ideally by the end of this year. That is a goal that I'm going to set up. By the end of this year, I would love to hold OC auditions for voices, and workload would not be a big workload. Workload would literally be like Instagram reels, 10-15 seconds at a time at best, as a start, and it would ideally be continuous work. But sorry, I got really distracted by talking about details, because I don't want people to be just keep it in mind. I may cut some of that out. I may cut out some of those details, but I do want people to keep in mind that, maybe a thing that I'm going to do, hopefully, by the end of this year. I do also maybe want to create an entirely separate channel, because I realize that this is kind of its own thing, and I want to recognize it as its own thing, rather than try and mush even more different varieties of content onto my MP channel. I would love to deep dive into mental health stuff and maybe make an entirely separate channel. Sorry, it sounded like I said separate, which does not sound good. But I would like to make an entirely separate channel, I believe, and just talk about mental stuff, what I've learned, kind of make it digestible for people that maybe want to lean towards helping themselves and recovering from things, and healing from things, whether some of you may be dealing with I don't want to get too deep into mental topics, just because of the vibes of what this is supposed to be. Sorry, oh my, there's a gnat. Sorry, I don't want to the gnat is in my way. But sorry, I got so, I heard a car. What am I hearing? I'm so sorry. I heard a really loud car through my headphones. I'm hoping that my mic didn't catch that. What a ride. Anyways, entirely separate channel. I will hopefully maybe share about some other time. I can talk about it on my sleep aid podcast thing, because I don't care. It's just a rambling thing. It's just kind of spewing out a bunch of thoughts and ideas, and doesn't necessarily have to be coherent, or doesn't necessarily have to be oh my goodness, he's back. Go away. It doesn't necessarily have to be coherent, as I was saying, or stick to a specific topic or a specific vibe. Well, it's supposed to stick to a specific vibe, sorry. But it's just me talking. And me talking about things. Definitely, if you have feedback about how I'm talking, how I'm doing things, if something's too loud, too soft, if you notice an issue, please let me know. I would love to get feedback. I would love to get, really like this, really don't like this. You could change this, you can make this better. You can, don't change this, this is perfect. Leave it as it is. Just little things, because I don't know, hopefully I will listen through this whole video, what will be a video and what will be an audio thing. I would love to make sure that it's, it may not be your cup of tea. You may prefer coffee, and that's totally fine. But hopefully for people that really like tea, this is the tea that they want, and it helps people, hopefully the vibes kind of calm your brain, or provide a boring enough even atmosphere for you to fall asleep to. Just, you know, the huge. I made like a eucalyptus tea, and I'm coming to realize that I do not like it. It has a weird aftertaste. It is not good. I do not like it. I am definitely a coffee person. I really like coffee. I am trying to kind of cut back on the amount of coffee I drink. Not always perfect. Today I had like 3 pretty big cups of coffee. Tempted to have another, but today's kind of been a weird day. It's kind of been it is what it is. I'll go ahead and have another cup of coffee. That's not gonna kill me. But tea, I do not exactly enjoy. I enjoy specific types of tea, or like tea I would maybe get at a coffee shop, not necessarily like normal, soak in a bag in some water type tea and then just drinking that straight. I like flavor, and I like vanilla, and I probably one of my favorite teas would be a London Fog, which is just Earl Grey tea, I believe, a little bit of vanilla and milk, and water, obviously. But really easy. You can even make it at home. I kind of make a really cheap version of it because I don't have all the cool stuff, and it's more effort to try and make it cool. And, I want to get my fix. So I just usually throw a bunch of ingredients in a cup, and I make my tea, and I let it, and I drink it. And I let it, and I drink it. I was gonna say, and I let it soak, but I didn't finish my thought. That concludes this episode of Peace of Night. Thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you have a wonderful experience, a deep, fulfilling sleep, and wake up ready to carpe diem. May peace be with you always.